This is the first installment of my Vince's Musing videos, and it's about the reference librarians. Reference librarians are librarians that help patrons find information in the library. Very unsung heroes of the information age. Now, I found out about the information librarians back in 1975. McDonald's was having a trivia contest where they had a little card, looked like a scratchers, that you'd scratch off, use a coin or something, scratch off to reveal the answers. So there was a question and 4 answers. If you scratched off the correct answer, then you got the prize. If you scratched off the wrong answer, it said void. So if you guessed and got it wrong, then you didn't get anything. So I had a card that I happened to get. There were no purchase necessary. You can just go in and get them. And I brought it home, and I was asking my mother if she knew the answer, and she didn't. And she said, "Why don't you call the reference librarian?" Didn't know who that was, and so I looked it up in the phone book and called the reference librarian and said, "I've got this question." And I gave her the question, and she said, "Is this a McDonald's question?" And I thought to myself, man, I don't want to waste her time, and if I say yes, she'll probably hang up on me. But it's always best to be honest. So I said, "Yes, it's a McDonald's question." And she said, "Oh, okay. We're keeping a list of all those questions separate so that when people call up, we don't have to look them up twice." So she gave me the answer, and it was correct. And I won a soda or fries or something. So the next day, a friend of mine and I got on our bicycles, and we rode to all the McDonald's in our area, maybe 10 or 12. And we each got a card. So we got about 12 cards. We called the reference librarian back, gave them all the questions. They told us all the answers. We got all winners. And we ate like kings, at least kings when you're poor and have never eaten in a McDonald's before. So that was a good experience. Well, fast forward to 1990. I got my first big job. I'd been turned out for about a year and a half as an electrician. I'm running this job as a foreman, and it's at a place called Amdahl, which got bought out by somebody else at this point. But this building had over $1 billion worth of mainframe computers. There's 36 of them, and they're between $40 and $50 million each. And our task was to build these test cells for the computers, these big mainframes, and supply all the electrical to them. They were 400 cycles, so kind of some weird stuff going on. Well, the first week there, we're trying to get started, and the customer would not let us start without an MSDS sheet. And an MSDS sheet is a material safety data sheet, which talks about the toxicity of the material. Well, they didn't want us to disturb it's called monocoat. They spray it on the beams and to fireproof them, actually to keep them cool in case of a fire. And they wouldn't let us start until we had the MSDS sheet to make sure we had the proper PPE. So the second week came. We go to the meeting, we ask for the MSDS sheet, and the general contractor says no, he doesn't have it, but he's working on it. They're working on it. And the third week, same thing. Fourth week, same answer. They don't have it. They are trying to get it. And in the meantime, the schedule's slipping, and we're starting to get real nervous. I'm getting real nervous because I've got this big job. Electrical was about $2 million, I think. So fifth week comes. Go into the meeting. Of course, no MSDS sheet. All these excuses why they don't have it. So I excuse myself from the meeting, and I go back to my job trailer, and I call the reference librarian. And I tell them, "Look, we've got this product. It's called Monocoat. It's a fireproofing material. Can you tell me who manufactures it. Well, they said, let us look and we'll get back to you. Well, I hang up the phone, I'm just sitting in my trailer waiting. About 5 minutes later, I get a call back from the reference librarian. And they tell me the manufacturer, where it's manufactured, and their telephone number. So I call them up, talk to this nice person there, and they make several different products, but we're able to determine exactly which product based on the geographical location and the time that it was installed. It was called Monocoat 5. So they faxed me the MSDS sheets, a couple sheets I think it was. So I make a bunch of copies, walk back into the meeting. I've been gone 20-25 minutes, and I start passing out these MSDS sheets. And they said, what's this? And I said, this is what you've been waiting 5 weeks for. I'm sorry it took me so long, 20 minutes, but you know, got to do what you got to do. And the customer was so impressed that from then on, anytime they had an issue, a problem, something, didn't even have to deal with electrical, they would come to me because I knew I could figure out the answer. Well, I never told them what I was using to figure out the answer, which was a reference librarian. But that was the start of my reputation of being able to get things done. And I guess the moral of the story is, you know, you don't have to be the smartest knife or the sharpest knife in the drawer or anything. You just got to know how to use the knife. And for me, starting in my career, that was the reference librarian. So a little thing that you can still call them, and if you have a question, you can't find it on Google or whatever, these people love to research answers. So it's still out there, and it's still a valuable resource. I hope that helps somebody out there.